Absolutely. Here's a compelling, deep, and intense opening segment to hook your audience right from the first second, delivered in the style of Eric Thomas, raw, passionate, and soul-grabbing. Listen to me real quick. I need your full attention. I'm not here to motivate you today. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to shake your soul, because some of y'all been living in plain sight too long, and you're losing yourself in the process. You keep showing up for everybody but you. You're out here being consistent for jobs that don't value you, relationships that drain you, and habits that are killing your dream one distraction at a time. You smiling on the outside, but you dying on the inside. You postin', scrollin', lickin', but the truth is, you empty. You burnt out, and deep down you know it. That's why this message is for you. It's time to disappear. Yeah, I said it. It's time to vanish, to disconnect from the noise, not because you weak, not because you giving up, but because you finally realize you can't build something powerful while everybody's watching. You can't elevate in front of people who only remember your old version. You can't win the war outside until you win the war within. You don't need another like. You don't need another DM. You don't need their validation. What you need is transformation, and that don't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, in the silence, in the grind nobody sees. So if you're ready, I mean really ready, to stop playing with your potential, to stop being available for things that don't grow you, to stop performing and start evolving, then I need you to lock in. Right now, don't skip, don't scroll, don't blink, because by the time this speech ends, you ain't gonna look the same. This ain't for everybody. This is for the one who's been overlooked, overwhelmed, and over it. It's time to disappear and change your life. You think disappearing is weakness. You think stepping away means you've lost. No, disappearing is the first step to rebuilding. It's the first sign that you're serious about change. See, most people don't get that. They think being visible means you're working. But visibility without direction is just noise. You're moving, but you ain't going anywhere. You're present everywhere, but still absent in your purpose. I'm telling you right now, you gotta get low before you rise. You gotta go off the radar so you can recode who you are. The version of you that's been trying to please everybody, show up for everything, stay accessible to all the wrong energy, that version needs to go silent. Some of you are so addicted to attention that you don't even realize how far you've drifted from alignment. You're constantly performing for your friends, for social media, for family. You show up with a smile when you're breaking down inside. You wear success on your sleeve, but inside you're screaming. You got nothing left. That's why you need to disappear. Not to escape, not to run, but to reset. You need to step away from the chaos so you can hear your own voice again. You need to disappear from their expectations so you can finally connect with your real purpose. Look, this world don't care if you're exhausted. It don't care if you're lost. It just wants you to keep scrolling, keep posting, keep pretending. But at some point you gotta say enough. At some point you gotta cut the noise. You gotta put the phone down, cut the conversation short, fall back from the crowds, because it's in that silence where you find you. It's when nobody's calling, nobody's texting, nobody's watching. That's when you confront the truth. And I know it's scary. I know silence can feel like a mirror sometimes, but that's where the breakthrough lies. That's where the transformation begins. You keep looking for clarity in chaos, but clarity only comes through stillness. You keep trying to figure out your next move in the middle of the storm, but you can't hear God's direction with everybody else in your ear. That's why the isolation is necessary. That's why the disappearing is required, not for them, for you. You need space to breathe, space to grow, space to shed the old version of you that was built on fear, on approval, on survival. The new version of you as the focused, disciplined, unstoppable you, that person is born in the dark. I know what it feels like to be available for everybody else and unavailable to yourself. I know what it feels like to give and give and give until there's nothing left for your own goals, your own dreams, your own sanity. That's why disappearing is the most powerful thing you can do. It's the act of choosing you. It's saying, I matter, my healing matters, my grind matters, my vision matters. You gotta choose you even if they call it selfish. You gotta walk away even if they don't understand. Because they don't see the war going on inside. They don't feel the weight on your shoulders. You do. So when you disappear, you ain't hiding, you're preparing. When you fall back, you ain't quitting, you're building in silence. You're cutting the world off so you can tap back into you, because the greatest moves you'll ever make won't be made in public. They'll be made in those quiet moments when it's just you and your decision. Just you and your discipline. Just you and your grind. And when you resurface, because you will, you won't be the same. You'll be sharper, clearer, stronger, built for what's next. But you don't get to that version by staying visible. You get there by disappearing. So if you really want to change your life, start with silence, start with separation. Start by letting go of the version of you that needed the world's approval and build the one that only needs one thing, purpose. Because when you disappear with intention, you come back with power. Everybody wants the spotlight. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants to be seen. But let me tell you something they don't realize, that the best work, the real growth, the transformation, it doesn't happen out in the open. It doesn't happen on stage. It doesn't happen on social media. And it definitely doesn't happen in comfort. The best work happens in the dark. In the moments when nobody's cheering for you, when nobody's checking for you, when it's just you, your grind, and your God. That's where champions are built. You keep thinking you need recognition to grow. You keep waiting for applause before you commit. You want people to notice your hustle before the hustle even begins. But listen to me, success doesn't care about who's watching. Progress doesn't come with an audience. The most powerful version of you will be built in isolation, not in celebration. You want to know why? Because when it's just you in the dark, that's when it gets real. That's when you find out who you are without the likes, without the validation, without the applause. That's where character is carved. That's where your identity stops being shaped by others and starts being shaped by discipline. You gotta stop needing people to see the work to do the work. You gotta stop depending on praise to stay consistent. There's gonna be days where no one claps for you, no one checks in, no one asks if you're okay, and you gotta show up anyway. You gotta do the push-ups in the dark. You gotta study when your eyes are burning. You gotta show up to your goals like your life depends on it, because it does. You waiting on motivation when what you really need is execution. You waiting on signs when what you need is action. Everybody sees the final product. They see the shine, the results, the elevation, and they think that's where it happened. No, that's just the outcome, the real magic that happened when you were up at 4 a.m. while the rest of the world was asleep. It happened when you were broke but still grinding like you were rich in vision. It happened when you were doubting yourself but still choosing discipline over feelings. That's the dark. That's the space where few want to go but all must pass through. You want to be successful, but you're avoiding the place where success is born. You keep thinking the dark is punishment, but the dark is preparation. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. Nobody sees the roots grow underground, but without them, the tree can't stand. That season when you feel invisible. That's the season you're getting rooted. That's the time when your foundation is being built strong enough to carry what's coming. You think you're stuck, but you're really being stretched. You think you're alone, but you're really being aligned. You think it's the end, but it's the beginning of your becoming. But here's the truth. Most people won't last in the dark. They'll quit because there's no applause. They'll stop because nobody's watching. They'll go back to being loud with nothing to show for it. But you're different. You're not here for popularity. You're here for purpose. You're not addicted to visibility. You're committed to the vision. So you grind when it's boring. You grind when it hurts. You grind when nobody's posting about it. Because you understand that legacy isn't built in moments. It's built in the mundane. You've got to become the type of person who doesn't need eyes on them to do what they were born to do. You've got to disappear and do the work, deep, internal, unglamorous work. The kind of work that's done when the cameras are off. Because one day, that spotlight is gonna hit. And when it does, they'll see the glow, but they'll never understand the grind that came before it. They'll clap for the result, but they'll never feel the pain of the process. And that's okay, because you'll know. You'll know that every rep, every hour, every lonely night mattered. It all counted. So don't be afraid of the dark. Don't run from the silence, embrace it, own it, and while they sleep on you, build quietly. Because when the time is right, your results will be so loud, nobody will be able to ignore you. You've been too available, too reachable, too accessible for things, people, and environments that don't serve your purpose. You keep giving your time, your energy, your peace to people who drain you, to situations that don't grow you. You're handing out pieces of yourself to everyone and everything, and then wondering why you feel empty, wondering why you feel lost. It's because your life is overcrowded with things that don't belong there. You're saying yes to distractions while your destiny is sitting there waiting on a yes from you. You got dreams, but your schedule don't reflect that. You got goals, but your circle don't reflect that. You got purpose in your heart, but chaos in your life, and you can't build greatness in the middle of confusion. You can't grow when you're tied to people who are content with average. You can't elevate when you're still entertaining things you should have walked away from a long time ago. Some of you are drowning in other people's problems while your own life is on life support. You've been playing therapist, fixer, babysitter, listener, and everything else, and yet the one person you haven't shown up for is you. There comes a point where you have to start asking yourself, is this growing me or draining me? Is this feeding my purpose or stealing my focus? Because you can't keep planting seeds and then letting people walk through your garden with dirty feet. You can't keep building momentum and then letting someone come tear it down with one phone call, one conversation, one distraction. I'm not saying you gotta be cold. I'm saying you gotta be clear. I'm saying you gotta protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. You've been available to gossip, to Netflix, to comfort, to the same habits that got you stuck. You've been loyal to your distractions. You've been consistent with your excuses, and it's killing your future. You know what it is, you're scared to say no, because you don't want to be alone. You don't want to feel selfish. You don't want to make people uncomfortable. But listen to me, the cost of pleasing everyone is the death of your purpose. The price of being liked is often being lost. You can't keep choosing comfort over calling. You can't keep choosing company over clarity. Sometimes disappearing is less about going into hiding and more about drawing a line. It's saying, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep giving to what gives me nothing in return. I can't keep running on empty because I'm scared of making changes. Growth comes with boundaries, discipline comes with distance, and success comes with separation. Not everyone can go with you. Not everything can stay. You can't build a new life while dragging the old one behind you. You want to know what happens when you start protecting your time, your space, your energy? You start hearing yourself again. You start dreaming again. You start thinking clearly. You start getting back to you. That person who was once fired up. That person who had a vision. That person who believed. That person who didn't need to post about it. They were too busy becoming it. But you can't do that when you're available for everything but your own evolution. Some of y'all need to start ghosting people who don't get it. Stop explaining your grind, stop defending your silence, stop apologizing for focusing. The people who love you will understand. The ones who don't, they were never meant to stay anyway. This is your life, your dream, your calling. You don't owe your availability to anyone who's not aligned with where you're going. And let's be real, it's not just people. You've been available to old patterns, old habits, old versions of yourself. You keep opening the door to doubt, to fear, to procrastination. But that old version of you, that version doesn't belong in your future. You gotta shut the door on who you were, so you can finally step into who you're becoming. You gotta get serious about what you say yes to. Because every yes to them is a no to you. Every yes to comfort is a no to growth. And you've said no to yourself for too long. It's time to flip that. It's time to say yes to you, to your peace, to your purpose, to your calling. It's time to protect your energy like it's gold. Because the truth is, it is. The version of you they remember. That version is gone, or at least it should be. See, you didn't disappear to stay hidden. You disappeared so you could rebuild, so you could become. You stepped away not because you were broken, but because you were being reborn. You isolated yourself not to escape, but to elevate. You went ghost not to fall off, but to rise up in a way they couldn't even imagine. And when you come back, you ain't coming back the same. That's the whole point. You didn't go dark just to stay quiet forever. You disappeared so when you reemerge, you'd be unrecognizable. Not just different on the outside, different in your spirit. Different in your discipline, different in your energy you used to second. Guess yourself, now you move with clarity. You used to seek approval, now you walk in purpose. You used to doubt your value, now you know who you are and whose you are. You went away so you could stop explaining and start executing. You think butterflies apologize for not being caterpillars anymore. You think they shrink back to make others comfortable. No, they fly. They take up space. Because when transformation is real, you don't come back trying to fit into old spaces. You don't dim your light to stay accepted by people who only knew you in your struggle. The person you've been becoming in the dark, they can't be boxed in by the expectations of the past. They weren't built to blend in. They were built to break through. The truth is, not everybody's gonna recognize you when you come back. And that's okay. Some people are still trying to talk to the version of you that you buried. Let them. Let them have conversations with your old shadow, because the real you is too busy building, too busy becoming, too busy living in alignment with everything you fought for in the dark. You're not explaining anymore. You're not proving anything. Your life, your results will speak louder than anything your words could say. That's why the dark was necessary. That's why disappearing had to happen. Because now when you step back into the world, you step back equipped. Equipped with resilience. Equipped with wisdom. Equipped with focus. You walk different now. You move with intention. You don't respond to everything. You don't engage with everyone. You don't explain yourself, because you understand that those who get it don't need it explained, and those who don't get it never will. You're not trying to be understood anymore. You're walking in understanding. And here's the most powerful part: the people who counted you out. The ones who thought you fell off. The ones who laughed at your silence, your distance, your quiet grind. They're gonna see you again. And when they do, it won't even be about revenge. You won't even have to say anything. Just your presence will speak volumes. Your growth will speak. Your results will speak. Your peace will speak. They'll see you and realize you were never gone. You were just getting ready. This is the version of you that doesn't fold under pressure. This is the version that doesn't need permission to be great. This is the version that was born in pain, forged in fire, and strengthened in solitude. You didn't get here by chance. You got here by choice. You chose discipline. You chose discomfort. You chose to do the hard thing when nobody was clapping, when nobody was watching, when nobody believed but you. And now you're here, not because you were lucky, but because you were locked in. So when you reappear, don't come back explaining. Don't come back begging. Don't come back hoping they accept the new you. Own it, stand in it, walk in it. You disappeared for a reason, and now you're reemerging with results, reemerging with clarity, reemerging with purpose. And the only thing left to say is, you ain't seen nothing yet.